very settled off-season. Luke Neville, the only loss off the bench. And Jeremiah Truman given more responsibility. The man from Taranaki, Daryl Corletto, loving it. Was a Tiger for some of the last season. Came over with the Breakers. Excuse me, into the off-season. Underway, game 1 of the NBL. And we're good to go. Cedric Jackson in control. Vicona aggressive on Redditch. Matty Knight has the rebound.
Mika Vicona loves to look for his offense. First play of the game, was not able to get the roll on the layup.
Tovey kicks it out to Redditch. Up fakes Tom Abercrombie. Veteran move there from Sean Redditch. And Abercrombie picks out the first foul.
And Sean Redditch, always heady on the court. Uses that shot fake that you have to respect because he is a very capable three-point shooter. Gets Thomas Abercrombie up in the air, and he sees that he's got him, waits for him to come down, gets that foul, gets a little bit of a shoulder action to Tommy's ribs as well, which is the added bonus for Sean Redditch.
Sean Redditch, naturalized American, had a horrific hip injury. Came back last season, shadow of his former self, but still had the skills. And this is his first free throw, but Sean Redditch is such a dangerous player for this Perth Wildcats team when he's hot.
Yeah, he's just got such a high motor. He pushes the ball from both ends, always putting the pressure on the defense. And I'd expect to see a lot of that tonight with Mika Vicona guarding him.
To Abercrombie on the baseline, rises up with a little shot, rolls around and in, and Abercrombie has the first bucket for the Breakers. Martin pushes it on Corletto, puts up a floater himself short, and Vicona has it. Ball in hand, Abercrombie up ahead. Vicona goes all the way to the cup. No, he doesn't. Turns it over.
Got to take advantage of that opportunity there. The Breakers had numbers, people everywhere, just not the quite right decision. Should have gone for the layup.
Lish regathers his balance. Redditch down low on Vicona. Lish, right-hand dribble. Drops it off to Matty Knight, and the Breakers will get it back.
Fantastic defensive rotations there. Kevin Lish had a little bit of a window. Alex Pledger came over, shuffled over, took away that opportunity, and when he went for the pass drop off to Matty Knight, Mika Vicona did a great job of coming down, covering that man, and the result is Breaker basketball.
Kevin Lish all over Daryl Corletto. Bringing the ball up, and Vicona given some space by Redditch, who cut off the Abercrombie drive. Cut, I should say, but it's no good for the Breakers. A little bit cold to start the game. Lish falls hard to the floor.
Tough foul there by Mika Vicona. Caught Kevin Lish a little awkwardly, and he fell down the same way, but you really gotta like the tempo of being shown by both teams, really pushing up the floor offensively and putting a lot of pressure on the defense as we see Mika Vicona just come in and whack Kevin Lish a little bit. You see he falls off balance, might have got on that right elbow a little bit, and a little falcon on the back for good measure.
No love lost between these two teams. Kevin Lish, such a tough player. 2012 MVP.
You won't see these guys taking each other to the movies anytime soon, but there is a level of respect because of the battles that they've had the last few seasons. They have been the class of the league for the last 3-4 years. And really, when you're looking at it, these are the two teams you'd expect to be there at the very end.
1 for 2 on the free throws. Pledger looking to get inside. Beautiful entry pass. Just flips it up and in on the reverse. Alex Pledger, dominant inside.
Well, he just got too low with the positioning. If you're going to let him get the catch in the block, he's going to finish almost 9 times out of 10.
Matty Knight goes to work on Pledger. Up and under, left hand. My goodness, that is a great move from Matty Knight.
He's so skilled on the low post. The ability to go to either shoulder and finish with a little jump hook. That time he kind of got a little finger roll to finish underneath Alex Pledger with a clever move.
So far, Perth doing a great job of keeping it out of Cedric Jackson's hands as Cam Tovey fouls Alex Pledger down low.
And now you see how the Breakers have really changed their offensive philosophy in the offseason. Used to be strictly a three-point shooting team in the last few seasons, but right now they're really looking for that high-low action off the on-ball with Alex Pledger. The quick pass to Mika Vicona. Looking down low for Alex. He's such a big target and earned a trip to the free throw line that one.
Free throw shooting is leading both teams down. Alex Pledger spent some time with Australian legend Luke Longley, won 3 championships with the Bulls, who had the best record in NBA history 1 year with Luke Longley in the middle. Also had some pretty good teammates helping him get that record. And Pledger benefiting from the expertise that Luke Longley brings.
So you've got to love that. An Australian coming over and helping a Kiwi big, letting him know he's got the ability to be one of the best players in the league.
Corletto quick fires a two, rattles it in. Daryl Corletto, sometimes his offense wasn't needed. He had a quiet game every now and again for the Breakers, but that is a good sign for Daryl Corletto.
Early last season, he was on fire, and he's picked up right where he left off. Still shooting the ball good from deep.
Knight inside. Likes this matchup with Alex Pledger. He just blocks it into the bottom of the backboard, and it came off Matty Knight. And it's Breakers ball.
He's not going to like that matchup if you keep putting up shots like that. He tried to create that contact with the shoulder, really force Alex Pledger off his spot. But Alex Pledger's put on about 5 kilos in this offseason. He's a load down there in the paint at about 120 kgs. Tough to move.
Jackson, strong with his left hand to the hole and puts it in.
And that is lightning quick from A to B in not seconds. I don't even think it took it any time at all.
The dribble penetration of Cedric Jackson, but he leaves Lish open. And Lish doesn't seal the deal on that three, but Toby has it in the corner. Redditch, face up, goes left hand, lost for Kona. Good work from Sean Redditch.
Just really stuck with the move. Expected the shot blocking Alex Pledger to be there when he wasn't. He knew he had an easy two and just laid it up.
Double teamed is Abercrombie. Jackson, crossover. Kicks it to Pledger, tip to Corletto. 4 on the shot clock. Oh, Kona, what a tip on the offensive glass.
And that's another thing the Breakers are trying to improve on this year, their offensive glass, rebounding the basketball off those little misses. That time, Kona somehow gets a mid on it and taps it home.
Breakers with a 5-point lead as Redditch. Too strong on the layup, but Knight's there, cleaning it up for the Wildcats. And the lead is cut to 3.
Physical game to start the season. Both teams really taking that challenge that the other opposition is presenting, and Matty Knight opportunistically grabs a rebound and puts it home.
Kevin Lish is doing all the work on the defensive end at the moment, pressuring the ball handler as Abercrombie finds a double team, but tiptoes on the baseline to Corletto. Who gets it? It's Corletto. Double clutch on the layup, and Daryl Corletto with a little athletic move.
Daryl Corletto. You know, that's maybe the only problem with Damian Martin's defense you could possibly say is he gets a little bit ball focused. That time, the Breakers did a great job of setting a little drag corner screen. Got Daryl Corletto the open look. When he didn't get that, the offensive rebound was there on the second opportunity. As we see, Cedric Jackson blowing by the league's premier defender, straight to the hole with the left hand.
Matty Knight takes a seat for the Wildcats. And Jeremiah Truman is in the game, as is Boucher and Bruton for the Breakers. Kevin Lish sticks the jump shot. 2-pointer for Kevin Lish.
Reigning MVP of the league. Another guy picking up right where he left off with that silky smooth jump shot.
And Corletto and Vacona will take a seat for the Breakers as Pledger has it. Loves this matchup with Truman. Shows a bit of a move. Kick out. Jackson to Bruton with Lish in his face. Just like he finished game 3 of the NBL Finals. CJ Bruton sticks it in Lish's grill.
Well, you wouldn't know this is the first game of the season. Both teams are playing at a very high level.
Hacking foul on, I should say, Dylan Boucher as CJ Bruton looks trim, looks good, legs look fresh, didn't play in the off-season, and we have a timeout. He's lost a couple of kilos, and one of them is probably from his hair.
We see that beautiful little pass from all the Breakers, passing the ball around. Everybody touched it, even though the defender was all over him. With the shot clock running down, CJ Bruton hammers it home. He loves to let the crowd know that he hit those threes.
He should be up the line ready. Over gets beat, and there's no help. Now we've got to have better vision there. Okay, if we're going to trap here, this is CJ, we've got to rotate early on it. You've got to know who the personnel are. Right now, they're getting you up the curve. So right now, if you carry the ball, I want early on ball screens here to free you up. Okay, so legal screens, come off there so they open the floor up. When we set screens, we're good.
Breakers' first sellout of the season. First game is just sold out this afternoon, so just over 4,000 in attendance at the North Shore Event Centre. As Damien Martin is at the line after Dylan Boucher hacked him.
Well, the crowd support for the Breakers, in particular the last few seasons, has just been fantastic. And why wouldn't it be back-to-back championships hoping for 3?
This Wildcats team notoriously fit, strong, and Damien Martin has come off a summer playing for the Boomers at the Olympics. Plagued by injuries in the grand final series against the Breakers. But their full court pressure is something to behold in this league as Bruton finds Abercrombie. Greg Hire on Boucher. Boucher spins, flips it up and in. Dylan Boucher. Oh, what a move.
Well, I'd give him that look if we were playing a game of horse, but he takes it in a game. The triple dipsy-do fake, looking the other way with off the glass of the left hand.
Jesse Wagstaff also in the game for the Perth Wildcats as Martin, nothing but the bottom of the net with Bruton all over him.
Damien Martin's jumper took a backward step last season, possibly to do with a lot of those injuries, but looks like he has no fear in taking that shot, and if he has that the ability to make it, that makes him much more difficult to guard.
And we have an offensive foul as Alex Pledger just bowled over Damien Martin as Will Hudson is about to make his entrance in the first game for the Breakers in the regular season. Will Hudson, what do you like about his game?
Well, he's yeoman-like in his work levels. You know, he's always going to be there. As we see the Dylan Boucher move, first of all, not there, not there. Ah, just toss it up. The 2-inch vertical, but what a pretty move. But going back to Hudson, he's a fantastic defender and really does the dirty work. He's not going to complain, but he's going to do the right things and help the Breakers get the wins.
Everard Bartlett, New Zealand player in the game to Truman, compatriot. And Jesse Wagstaff just lost the handle there, 6th man of the year last season. Cedric Jackson will find another import in the form of this Will Hudson, who is a tireless rebounder. Just a little bit of athleticism off the bench as well. When you think about Pledger and Boucher and Bruton, who came off the bench last season as Abercrombie falls short, there's a real up and down nature of Will Hudson's game. There's a stark contrast to the game of Gary Wilkinson as Hire tips it and it's a back over court, so the Breakers will have it.
Yeah, fantastic defense by the Breakers there, really putting a lot of pressure and getting in those passing lanes off the penetration. They're not having to overcommit on the help, and that's enabling them to stay out there and defend those lanes, and that's how I'm called the turnover.
Under 3 minutes at the North Shore Event Centre. Game 1 of the NBL season between the two finalists of last season, and there's a double team on Jackson, and he breaks it. Boucher driving, looking aggressive early as Dylan Boucher, but we have an offensive foul, and that is on Will Hudson.
Yeah, just got a little too aggressive trying to seal the lane for Dylan Boucher. If you're going to set that screen, you got to stay set, especially with Dallas Pickering making those calls. He's not going to let you get away with the little pushes and the holds. Stayed a little solid. Might have got the call, but not that time.
High on the wing. Breakers in a zone. Truman in the lane. Sticks the jumper.
Jeremiah Truman, excellent shooter for a player his size. He's trying to put on weight the last few seasons, hasn't been able to, but it doesn't affect that jump shot.
And foul on the baseline from referee Aylen.
Jeremiah Truman just trying to push that screener out of the way to make it that much easier for Cedric Jackson's defender to get over it, but got a little too aggressive. He gets pinged for the illegal screen.
Leon Henry in the game as Abercrombie sits down. Little two-man game between Boucher and Jackson didn't work as Lish pushes it. Bartlett, left hand, that counts and in. And Bartlett will go to the line.
Fantastic pass there on the break. Really had to thread the needle to get it in between those two defenders. Drops it off at the perfect place, and Everard Bartlett finishes with the left hand. Of course, he is left-handed, so it's a little bit easier for him. But nice little finish to draw the foul as well and get to the free throw line for the old-fashioned three-point play. As we see him take that contact, CJ just got underneath him. Cheap foul, easy finish.
Bartlett makes the foul shot, and the Wildcats now have a 2-point lead. 20-18, coming up on 2 minutes to go in this first quarter. Boucher drives again, too strong. Boucher. I think that's shot number 3 for Dylan Boucher.
Yeah, maybe he's the guy who's going to pick up Gary Wilkinson's offense. He could go for 17.5 a game, I think.
Wow, that would be bonus basketball for Dylan Boucher. 7 to shoot for the Wildcats. It's Lish on Henry. Step back. 3 on the way. Rattles it in, does Kevin Lish.
Ooh, that's a tough move there. Andrew Lamontis has seen enough from the Wildcats, wants a timeout, but Kevin Lish playing with the basketball, just got that little bit of space, forced Leon Henry to take a backward step, took that opportunity to drill the three-pointer. Right now, the crowd quiet, not expecting this effort level from the Wildcats in the first quarter.
Yeah, we're just playing now like a little bit quick. We had 2 turnovers in a row that led to transition stuff. We just end up giving them baskets, all right? Just be smart on that. Against this press right now, bounce, you turn, you circle and screen it. We got press break spots. If he drives that, you get out of there. Once we bust it, let's get into some zone secondary or man secondary. Get some ball movement, get some player movement. So secondary here, well, if it goes here, you're just chasing short corner to short corner. Once it goes here, this guy's on the rim, you lift up to the mid post, and we play the mid post, high post out of that, okay? Game of runs, all right, game of runs. We've just got to make sure we take away the easy stuff right now. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Here we see Kevin Lish coming out of the timeout. Has to be feeling good after this little move through the legs. Little step back, little shimmy with the shoulder. Gets the rattle home 3. And he's picking up right where he left off. Last season's MVP. Possibly debatable for some of the New Zealand Breaker fans who thought there might have been an MVP in this building, but Kevin Lish certainly well deserving of the honor with the season that he had, and looks like he's going to have another one of those this year.
17.3 points a game last season as Corey Webster sees his first action for a long time for the Breakers. Leon Henry in the corner. Good work by Webster on the glasses. Hudson may have got away with a walk there. Gets a nice little baby hook in though, and Will Hudson has his first points at the Breaker.
And that's what he's going to specialize in for the Breakers, the offensive rebound putback. That's where he can really help this team.
Wagstaff left alone and just curls in. 2 points for Jesse Wagstaff, 5-point lead.
So don't respect the shot, you're going to respect the runner as he nails a layup.
Boucher, aggressive himself. Another turnover though. Just a bit ragged for the Breakers at the moment. Wagstaff feeling it. Truman and Hudson hustling. And that'll be Breakers' ball with 32.7 seconds to go in this first quarter.
Yeah, Breakers struggling a little bit right now with the zone defense being put up by the Wildcats, which is something they didn't see a lot of last year because all of the perimeter shooting they have. But you look at the lineup that's out there right now, got 3 shooters, a couple of guys are going to have to be inside doing the dirty work and first staying in this zone.
So Mikavakona back in the game. Boucher takes a seat. Corey Webster fires a bullet pass, ends up with Henry on this left side. Far side from the camera. Webster jab step, drives, falls away over 2 defenders. Leon Henry, no one boxed him out. 7 to shoot, left in the quarter. What do we got? Breakers ball.
It's going to see what happens there. If they call it Perth possession, they're going to reset the shot clock, but if not, there's only going to be about half a second left on the shot clock. There's no time showing off the shot clock right now, so they're going to have to get this shot off pretty quick.
Don't know if they're aware of that. No shot clock has gone off, and Martin rips it away. 1 second for Bartlett to finish. Just gets it off. Does it count? It does. And the Perth Wildcats have a 7-point lead, 27-20, after 1 quarter at the North Shore Event Centre.
Well, heads-up play by the Wildcats there to snatch that rebound and toss it the full length of the court to get a shot off before the quarter time expires. Very heads-up. Right now, the Perth Wildcats, very impressive, playing like they're in mid-season form.
Currently shooting 59% as well from the floor. The Breakers, 53% from the floor, but it feels like it's a little bit ragged at times at that first quarter.
Weren't both these teams talking about all that defense that was about to be played, and now we have 2 teams shooting over 50? But I think what that really is 2 teams who understand each other very well and have been able to find the opportunities where they can succeed.
dribbling in, you're trying to get him to guard.
We're going to set that up and then come off it. Okay? Here we go. Here we
Here we see Matty Knight with that little hook shot. As impressive as Cedric Jackson's drive, wasn't enough for the Breakers. Derek Coletto came up, had some nice action off the bench. Ball movement doing very well for the Breakers, but the Perth Wildcats coming back with it. Overall, just two teams playing at a high level. You can see the Everard Bartlett's skinny layup to beat the clock.
Secondary. We make this hit, the 5-man comes, this guard goes through the corner. The ball goes on, and we hit this part, the big man's on the basket, he's here, and we end up with short corner, mid-post, dribble drag. They stay in the zone, run some zone secondary, run some zone trans. Don't stand there with the ball above your head. Continue to be aggressive, attack, penetrate, pitch. And then we've got to get some stops. Here we go. Go, boys. 1, 2, 3.
Matty Knight and the Perth Wildcats out there waiting for the Breakers to finish that timeout. They know things are going well for them. They want to keep the momentum going, trying to get on the court as quickly as possible.
Matty Knight, heavily taped shoulder. It does have a tendency to pop out during a game, which is a new level of toughness for Matty Knight. Got broad shoulders, but plagued by injury. Especially when he sets screens like that, as the ball is back in Perth Wildcats' hands. Higher, gives it to Bartlett. And Bartlett looks to Wagstaff. Wagstaff with the 3. And the lead is 10 for the Perth Wildcats.
And the Wildcats have such a numerous amount of bigs who have the ability to shoot the jump shot. Makes it very difficult to guard, much like the Breakers have been the last couple of seasons.
One thing that they didn't really have last season at the Breakers is depth at that point guard position. CJ Bruton, his leg's not quite right for part of the season, so Corey Webster has the ability to handle the ball and shoot it when need be, as the shot clock almost expired. The Breakers reset their offense. Vakona backing in him. Ugly little shot. And Damian Martin has it.
Fantastic defense by the Wildcats. Gave up the offensive rebound, but didn't drop their heads. Stayed solid in their defensive principles.
Wagstaff has looking good tonight. Skies in for the layup, and Matty Knight gets the tip in.
Matty Knight just doing all the work on the offensive glass. He isn't getting a lot of touches because the Breakers are paying a lot of attention to him. But he's keeping with it, getting on the offensive glass, and that's going to get a call from big Alex Pledger to come back into the game.
Maybe the low post game of Pledger will spread the floor for the Breakers. Hudson fights for position, and Abercrombie drives on Martin. Goes up, double clutch. Just another athletic move from Tom Abercrombie. His wheel, his leg is supposed to be 85% right, but he looks good there, Casey.
Well, if I had that much of my leg at 85%, I might still have a job in the basketball league. But look at him. His ability to sit up there and float is just fantastic. Jumps from a ways away, hangs underneath the defender to find the angle to put it off the glass to lay it in.
Frustrating off-season for Tom Abercrombie. Had to have surgery to remove bone chips from his leg. He fell awkwardly in the Townsville series, and he missed out on going to the NBA summer camps. But Tom Abercrombie is almost back at full strength as he goes sliding to the floor at midcourt. Crowds don't like it, but it's good, hard basketball.
And nothing wrong with that foul. Two guys going at each other, but gotta like the way the Breakers are off to the races after the shot. You see it, the ball carooms off the rim. Thomas Abercrombie, before he even has it, is starting the fast break. Gets a cheap foul, which should come into play later in the quarter when you're trying to get into that bonus early.
Cam Tovey picks up that foul.
Cam Tovey, a player the Perth Wildcats are really counting on to get a little bit more of his perimeter game going. Struggled with the three-pointer last season, and they really need him to find the range.
Tipped by Bartlett, who was in the league previously with the Breakers. He won the slam dunk competition one season, Casey.
He did. Had to get a little special dispensation to get in because he was still a developmental player. And had some time last year with the Sixers and the Wildcats as well. And has earned himself a job in the league this year.
Cam Tovey picks up personal foul number 3 with the push-off. Yes, another feature of the NBL is the re-emergence of the All-Star game, December 23rd. Looking forward to that. Not sure how it's structured at the moment, Casey, but that'll be a great game to watch.
Well, anytime you can see the best talent in the league gathered in one place, it's fantastic for the fans, good for the players to show off what they can do.
So Perth still with his 10-point lead. 7:42 to go in the half. As Abercrombie gets another 2. 4 points in the second quarter for Abercrombie.
This is a guy, talk about that frustration in the offseason. He's taking some of it out on the Wildcats now.
Matty Knight answers with a baseline jump shot. Matty Knight can spread the floor himself.
He is a skilled basketball player. Can take it inside, can take it outside.
Jackson back in Knight. Redditch threatening the double team. Jackson brings it back. 12 on the shot clock. Vacona fires it to Corletto, who's cutting, and he flips it off the glass, and he'll go to the line to complete the three-point play.
Mika Vacona just loves to catch the ball in that post and look for his teammates. And now you see Daryl Corletto has spent a year with the Breakers now, a little bit more comfortable, knows what his teammates are doing. He knows Mika's looking for that pass, slices to the lane, catches it in stride, takes the contact, and puts up a nice little nifty reverse layup, going for the three-point play, and just what the Breakers need right now, down 8.
And that is the real reason why these two teams are the top teams in the league, because their rosters have been so settled. I mean, obviously Pledger is in the starting lineup, but Wilkinson is gone, but this team is big enough and old enough to adjust to that.
Yeah, the ability to play with the same players for year in, year out makes it a lot easier to pick up where you left off. You know what each other's going to do, you know the systems, and you get to build on that.
And look at this defensive intensity from the Breakers and forces the turnovers. Lish went backcourt, trying to find a way out of that double team. Good intensity from the Breakers.
And the Breakers aren't using as much full court pressure, but they're really being aggressive on the on-ball screens. And that time, you know, the last place you want to pick up the basketball, you learned that in mini ball. Don't pick it up right when you cross half court. Kevin Lish made that mistake. Gets yelled at by pretty much every teammate and coach there. But I think he'll take that in stride and keep the game going.
Rob Beveridge fuming on the Perth Wildcats bench. Let's go down to their huddle.
Advance it, you draw it, and we play out of that. But we got to get the pressure off our guards here. Switch on. Can't have people coming in the game and screwing up like that. Let's go to 2 here. Okay, make sure we know where the shooters are. They're throwing it in the post here. Okay, they've got these guys coming in behind it. Okay, if they're looking to go one-on-one, go in and out, in and out. Okay, create some pressure, play over the stuff. Let's run some, let's go some corner now. Okay, the corner, then suck the cuts in. Here we go.
And here you see some of that defensive pressure. Cedric Jackson all over the ball. Mika Vacona, one of the more mobile forwards in the league, comes up to double off the on-ball screen, forces him into the backcourt turnover. And Andre Lamanis, that's that defensive pressure he was looking for at the beginning of the game. And that's what they're going to have to do a lot more of, because they don't have the ability to get the easy buckets that they did last season. Not quite as skilled offensively, so they're going to have to do it, create that offense with their defensive pressure.
The Breakers down 7. Pledger has it, double teamed almost straight away as Abercrombie's wide open. Too strong. There's players on the floor, and Redditch has it. Waiting for the trailing Matty Knight, not a good option. Backdoor cut from Lish is beautiful, and the left hand goes up and in.
Fantastic cut there. Thomas Abercrombie concerned about the catch for Lish. They're trying to keep the ball out of his hands. He takes advantage with the backdoor cut.
Vacona almost had it turned over. And we have a whistle, and it's 3 seconds in the key. So Perth will have it. Another turnover for the Breakers. Number 5 for the half, I should say.
Alex Pledger just sitting there in the key, wondering when somebody's going to shoot it. Just put the ball up, I'll grab an offensive rebound, but he's got to reset outside of the key. Thought the shot was coming, and it just did not come in time.
36-27, Perth up. Kevin Lish just with an errant pass.
Well, he's trying to get mad at Matt Knight there. Wants him to sag down a little bit further on the baseline, but Matty Knight was in perfect position. If he could have just been a bit more spot on with that pass, he would have had a jumper.
Jackson to Vacona. 2 Wildcats box out Alex Pledger, and they have it. North Shore Event Centre has a capacity crowd, but a little quiet at the moment as Matty Knight sticks it deep, 2 points.
Yeah, foot on the line. Rick Pitino used to call that the worst shot in basketball. If you're going to be that deep, you want the 3, but good enough for 2 as the Wildcats really giving the Breakers fits with this 2-3 zone defense.
Matty Knight is 10 points on 5 of 6 shooting. Big first half for him and the Wildcats. Jackson, too strong. It's not dropping from deep for the Breakers. They're 1 of 6 in the half. Falcon on Vacona's head. Lish and Vacona go sliding to the floor, and that'll be a foul on Mika Vacona.
You can see right now, it looks like the Perth Wildcats just wanted a little bit more. They've been thinking about this game as Mika Vacona takes one straight to the grill. Not very happy about that. Might knock you a little woozy.
That hurt the ball more than it hurt Mika, I believe.
Everything hurts the ball more than it hurts Mika. That would have to be a bowling ball and hit him in the head to get anything on the Mika's skin.
So timeout, and Perth Wildcats have an 11-point lead.
Right there, Martin Kieran, he crosses across the centre line, all the stuff we spoke about, keep us into the sideline. Offensively, against that zone, all right? When we run zone runner, Chief is screening in here and he's sealing, and he looks kind of open to me. All right, make sure we keep exploiting this part of it. We're playing off our back foot, everyone's catching and putting the ball above their heads, as opposed to catch and play off the front foot. When you penetrate, get some cutters going to the basket, everyone's stopping short. If you pass and cut through the basket and then come out, okay? So we've got zone runner, all right? We've got zone secondary against it, or just go ahead and run some thumbs. The on-ball looked good as well, running some thumbs against it, all right? They're the 3 things we've got. Zone runner, zone secondary, and zone thumbs. Here we go, highs and lows. Let's go, work our way back in. 1, 2, 3.
You see Angela Monis talking about not being on the back foot, and Zali Williams looks on, checking out the basketball action, but the Breakers do need to be more aggressive against that zone defense. Really got to try to find a way to form some passing lanes or some driving lanes to get into the heart of the defense to make them collapse, because right now the outside shot just is not falling.
So the Wildcats will inbound it from the side as they have this 11-point lead. Just over 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Redditch puts the move on Dylan Boucher. What a drive from Sean Redditch.
Almost looked out of control. Looked like he might have been falling down, but no, he was under control the entire time. Lays it in off the glass.
The lead is 13 for the Wildcats. Breakers stagnant, down to 48% shooting percentage at the moment. 7 to shoot. Bruton finds Boucher, I should say, and there's a turnover. The Breakers in all sorts of trouble at the moment. Wildcats in control. Matty Knight cuts. 15-point lead for the Perth Wildcats.
It's just perfect offensive execution. The double came, Matt Knight straight to the right spot on the court to get the layup.
Jackson had a tip by Lish. Who has it? It's Purser. Purser to Redditch. Gives it to Lish. Oh, great fast break from the Perth Wildcats. Barely touched the floor.
They look like a well-oiled machine right now. This is a team that's playing on all cylinders with a lot of focus and determination.
Pledger on Knight. Rolling hook shot. Knight has it. He's having a phenomenal first half. Matty Knight, 12 points. 4 rebounds.
Dylan Boucher with the clever, shall I say, flop. Maybe he's just sucked in on Sean Redditch there. Knew the hard post-up was coming because that's Sean Redditch's MO. Was able to get him to post in hard right in front of the ref. Took the contact and went down. As you see Sean Redditch here, smash in. Dylan Boucher sells the foul.
That is classic Dylan Boucher. If you're a Perth Wildcats fan, you'll be fuming right now. I hope David Stern and the NBA aren't watching. They hate flopping.
Yeah, that'd be about a $10,000 fine if we were in the NBA for Dylan Boucher.
Corey Webster back in the game for the Breakers. Still down 17, mind you. It's Corletto, back to Bruton. Hudson's fighting for position on Truman. 4 to shoot. Hudson has to do something with it. Gives it to Bruton. Thought it was going in, but it wasn't. Well, look out, here comes Will Hudson.
Hey, just wants to check out, see what's over there in the luxury boxes, what they have for dinner, what wine are they drinking tonight. Is that a Pinot? And back to the game.
So the Breakers' field goal percentage has dropped dramatically. They've sat on 27 points for quite a long stretch in the second half, in the second quarter rather. Perth Wildcats doing a great job on them. Bruton tips it, fast break, behind the back to Corletto. Nothing's working out at the moment in this first game, and Andre Lemanis just has the eyebrows raised.
The Breakers need to do the simple things well. Right now, they're just trying to do a little bit too much, and it's costing them.
Finally, the Breakers get a break. 7 points is all they've scored in this second quarter. The Perth Wildcats have scored 17 themselves.
Right now, the Wildcats are just imposing their will on the Breakers, forcing the game to their tempo.
Another turnover. Turnover number 9 for the Breakers. 8 for the Perth Wildcats, mind you. They are the ones with a big, healthy lead. Higher steps through and puts it up.
But the difference in those turnovers is the Wildcats are taking advantage of when they get them. You see there, they get a turnover, they get 2 points. On the last Perth Wildcat turnover, the Breakers turned the ball over.
Corletto. Everything's just too strong at the moment. 19-point lead for the Wildcats. No one picks up Jesse Wagstaff, who sticks at 3. The lead is 22 at the North Shore Event Centre.
And now the Breakers are just going to have to go back to the drawing board. They need a bucket badly to stop the bleeding.
This 2-3 zone working a treat for the Wildcats. Look at the quick hands of Damien Martin. The hustle, he gets it back, drops it off to Lish, and then the foul. Oh yes, Perth Wildcats smoking the Breakers.
They are putting on a clinic. And defensive pressure, that 2-3 zone is just doing everything right now. Damien Martin with the quick hands, cannot relax when he's on the ball. Tiptoes the line, looks like a layup. No, I'll give it to my teammate who gets fouls and puts it in. Kevin Lish very quietly putting up 12 points as well. Well, not so quietly. I mean, the Breakers are getting smacked by 24 here in the second quarter as you see that Lish layup from another angle. And
Damien Martin, just such a defensive dynamo as Bartlett checks in and Lish takes a seat. Lish sitting with 13 points, 5 of 6 shooting for Kevin Lish. They've scored the last 18 points on the Breakers. Jackson. Oh, well, Hudson follows it up and ducks it in.
And a bit of a sarcastic cheer from the crowd. Just excited to see something go in for the Breakers. But Will Hudson doing even though the Breakers aren't having a great night, he's doing very well on the offensive glass. I believe that's his 3rd offensive rebound of the game.
What a first half from these Perth Wildcats. As soon as I say that, it almost went Keystone-ish. As Bartlett and Wagstaff meet at the sideline, and the Breakers will have the ball after that turnover.
The Breakers got to be thinking about time. When are the breaks going to go our way? So far, it's been a river in favor of the Wildcats.
Jackson just hounded on the baseline. He stepped out. He actually pushed off it, reckons Michael Aylan, but no foul called.
You can see right now the Breakers are not taking what the Wildcats are giving them. They're trying to force the issue, force the ball in on the penetration, force the penetration with passes from around the outside. And that's not working. They have to be a little bit more opportunistic, take what's given, and let the game come to them.
Some pressure from the Breakers. Jesse Wagstaff with a unique dribble style. Bartlett steps back over Hudson. Truman gets the board. Looks for some help and finds Bartlett. 19 to shoot on the shot clock with 38 seconds to go in the half. Faces up on Pledger, does Jesse Wagstaff. Reverse layup, tipped in by Jeremiah Truman. Everything's going down for the Wildcats.
Jeremiah Truman's a guy you have to find on that offensive glass.
Great position by Pledger, who flips it up and in. Just too difficult for Jeremiah Truman to get the ball when it's up that high.
Well, that is a big, strong move as we see some type of warning for Cedric Jackson. I don't know exactly what it was he did, but he did something not to the officiating crew's liking, and we have it straightened out now. But Alex Pledger, good aggressiveness. That's something the Breakers need right now. Buckets from somebody.
Oh, well, Hudson just rips it from Bartlett. just flat out robbed.
It just comes in and takes it from him. 14 seconds left with Everard Bartlett not aware of the other defender, and Will Hudson heads up play, snatches the basketball, takes the foul, finishes it, and giving them some kind of spark of life, so maybe there's a few positive things to say in the locker room.
Mind you, they're down 21, 14.2 seconds to go as Hudson can cut the lead to 20. It's as bad as it sounds. The Breakers, the defending NBL champions, unfurled their championship banner in front of these Perth Wildcats, who have spanked them in this first half. 7 to go in the half. Martin, miscommunication, just the rustiness of the start of the season. Guys not in spots where the penetration wants them to be. We've seen that a couple of times so far. So the Breakers have 0.9 to get a shot off. Just enough time. Can Jackson do it? They practice this at the end of the training, and that was way off.
Oh, way off. Hit the backboard.
Hit the backboard, my bad. So the Perth Wildcats are the team in control of Cedric Jackson, and the Breakers head to the locker room at half-time. Perth up 20, 54-34.
Find out what you're missing, do the right thing, live a living. Home is where the heart is, New Zealand. B-R-E-A-K-E-R-S.
Keep watching, keep supporting them.
Your champion New Zealand Breakers are back at Vector Arena to take on the Adelaide 36ers. Live next Friday, Sky Sport 2.
Morocco is coming to New Zealand, and we're not talking about continental shift. Introducing Macca's new Moroccan lamb burger. Crunchy cucumber, succulent New Zealand lamb, and a tongue-tingling Moroccan sauce. Camels restricted to drive-through.
It's Bond's Mad Manager Sale with a huge 48 months interest-free store-wide. This Sony 40-inch Full HD LED is $999 and save $300 on this powerful Toshiba notebook. Hurry, 48 months interest-free ends Monday. Bond and Bond, you want it, we've got it, let's talk.
Mitsubishi Outlander, our best-selling SUV, is set to become even more popular. For an exceptional run-out price of $39,990, you'll enjoy on-demand four-wheel drive, 5-star safety, an efficient 2.4-litre engine, partial leather seats, and 18-inch alloys. And there's still room for 7 seats, the best warranty, and wherever the road takes you. It's a great time to start your 10-year relationship.
As promised.
We know what you want. You want power. You want control.
A free bag of electricity with every light, only while stocks last.
We've switched on spring with the biggest lighting sale of the season. 20 to 50% off everything. Goodbye winter, hello spring.
It all comes to life at Lighting Plus.
I'm looking for a bacon that's a real slice of New Zealand, and I think I found it. Hella's 100% New Zealand free-farmed bacon.
No, that's lovely bacon.
It's good stuff. 10 out of 10. So there you have it. Hella's 100% New Zealand free-farmed bacon in the handy rigid pack. As sure as Hella's. Funny that.
Super Cheap Auto is celebrating the great race with a great sale. Buy 3 45-litre black storage roller boxes for just $25. Save over $16. And get 3 tins of export aerosol paint for just $12.
At Pizza Hut, choose from a delicious range of large pizzas for just $4.90. So grab a Hawaiian, or 3. Pizza Hut, the best value pizzas under one roof.
Welcome back to the North Shore Event Centre. It is a very, very happy Western Australian side. The Perth Wildcats leading the Breakers 54-34. Dennis Katsanos once again with Tall Black Casey Frank. And Casey, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but championship hangover just seems to be going over and over in my head.
Yeah, the Breakers came out, they looked good for a minute, but you got to realize when you hang that banner, it's a whole new season. We heard Andre Lamanis trying to bang that point home that it's a new year, we need to do new stuff, but they just were not able to get that in their heads. And the Wildcats, they're hungry, they're thirsty, and they're playing like it.
Well, Casey, as you put it, it was a fantastic start for the Breakers. They looked clean, smooth, clinical.
Yeah, they came out, they really were playing very well. They were passing the ball well, getting them around the Perth Wildcats defenders and finding that open man. But as the game went on, the Wildcats just stepped up to the challenge and took away those easy opportunities.
Now, did the Wildcats up their D? That disruptive D just didn't seem to be there for the first 5-10 minutes of that first quarter, and then all of a sudden it was the old Perth that we know so well.
Well, they switched into that 2-3 zone, and that just seems to be giving the Breakers fits right now. You know, that coupled with some timely offense, in particular from Kevin Lish, who had a fantastic first half, really hurt the Breakers.
The other impact is on Cedric Jackson. They seem to be doing a fantastic job containing him. And if you hold Cedric, you pretty much have a license to score.
Well, especially without Gary Wilkins this year, there's a lot of pressure on Cedric Jackson to create offense. And by getting into that 2-3 zone, they took away a lot of his penetration lanes. And without as many three-point shooters they've had in years past, it's difficult for them to find the guys on the perimeter.
So rightly frustrated, Andre Lamanis, looking at the stats, 63% to 44, 1 from 9 in terms of three-pointers for the Breakers. It's unheard of, and 17-9 in terms of the board, so really doing it tough.
Yeah, it's not like the teams of old, but they knew this coming in. They were not the same type of offensive team that they have been. They had to find a different way to do it. And right now, at halftime, they have not been able to find it so far.
Yeah.
The Wildcats are in man, they might not have to figure it out just yet.
Jackson, will he start the scoring for the Breakers? Yes, he will, with a three-pointer for Cedric Jackson. Shot 25% on the year last season.
Well, he's better than that now, 1 for 2 on the night. The Breakers need some threes from somewhere, might as well come from him.
They need points in a bunch as Redditch just answers with that nice right-hand floater.
Tough shot over Alex Pledger. When he's extended, you can barely see the basket, but that did not deter Sean Redditch at all.
Little baby hook. And another miscommunication as the ball goes out of bounds into the corporate area. Glass and bottles missed, and Perth have it back. The last time the NBL champion lost their home opener, as Sean Redditch knocks down a triple, was Adelaide against the Wollongong Hawks 10 years ago.
This was looking to be the 10th consecutive win for the home opener, the defending champions, and not looking that way right now.
It's not over at the moment, though. It's looking like a Perth win at the moment. They don't take the foot off the pedal as much as other teams have, as Lish strips Jackson clean, and Abercrombie holds Lish up with a foul.
I'll tell you, I'm really impressed with Kevin Lish's defense tonight. He's really known as an offensive player the last few seasons he's been in the Australian League, but his ability with the quick hands so far tonight, just reaching in there and taking the ball away. Looks like, especially when Cedric Jackson's bringing that jumper up, it seems like Kevin Lish has found something on the film that Cedric Jackson is susceptible to.
Lish misses the three. Abercrombie has it. Tovey picks up foul number 4.
Just got to think a little bit more than that. They need him on the court, even if it's not a big offensive player having a great game. They still need him just to get the rotations right. He's the guy starting at the 3. They need a certain number of minutes for him, and you can tell they do because they're leaving him out there with 4 fouls.
They leave Jackson wide open. Almost banks it. In fact, it does bank in. Cedric Jackson, second 3 of the game. Redditch, does he answer? Of course he does. Transition defense, not working out for the Breakers.
Even when things break the Breakers' way, they compound it with another mistake, not getting back in the transition defense. And granted, he is a fantastic transition player, but somebody has to stop him.
Great pass from Mika Vakona to Pledger. Trading buckets at the moment. Toby stays on the floor with the 4 fouls as Martin flips it up and in. Back and forth we go. The Breakers still can't stop the Perth Wildcats from scoring.
Alex Pledger might as well be 6 foot out there. The guards are just coming in and finishing over his head.
He's fighting with Matty Knight in the key as well. Martin's all over Mika Vakona, gets round him, but he gets round him with an arm. And that's a foul on Mika.
Yeah, Mika Vakona known for that little hook play. Not a lot of action, though. He's asking for a little bit more movement out there on the perimeter when he's got the basketball. And right now, the Breakers are looking like a team that's trying to do it individually instead of with the basketball movement and as a team. Just really trying to find some way back into the game.
Number 3 for Vakona. Double team on Martin. Skips it over to Lish. Beautiful pass. Air ball from Kevin Lish, though. The crowd remind him. Then they probably should look at the scoreboard. They're up 23 on the Wildcats. Are they up 20? Yes, they are. As Corletto chips away at the deficit.
Well, it's a different story in the second half here for the 3-pointers. The Breakers cannot find a way to miss right now.
63-45 is the scoreline. 18-point lead for the Wildcats. I stand corrected.
Well, the Wildcats right now really punishing the Breakers in transition. And very impressive when a team gets scored on and is still able to get fast break opportunities at the other end. And they're just pushing the basketball at such a high pace that it's difficult for the Breakers to get back into the sets defensively. And it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult now with both big fellas on the court for the Breakers when Will Hudson coming in to sub Mika Vakona.
He sits with those threes. Knight is at the line. 12 points, 6 of 8 shooting. Make it 13 points for Matty Knight. Makes both. And points from turnovers for the Wildcats, 15 in that first half. Breakers just 2. 9 steals as well. So that pressure, that legendary Perth Wildcat pressure, coming to the fore in the first half. Jackson, another 3 attempts. His third of the quarter. Cedric Jackson, the knock on him, he couldn't shoot threes last season.
Who is this guy? Is this the penetrator from last year, or is this some new shooter they recruited?
He has 11 as Redditch dribbles it off his foot. The crowd tries to rally. The Breakers down 17. Wildcats doing a job on them. Foul on that far side is Matt. Knight fouls Pledger off the ball.
Matty Knight's being very aggressive, trying to keep Alex Pledger out of those screens. And if they're going to let him play physically like that, it's going to be tough to get into it. But that time the officiating crew makes the call. Going to be a little bit easier set on balls for Cedric Jackson now. And the Breakers happy to find that offense from Cedric Jackson on a 3-point shot, but cannot count on that to happen consistently forever. Going to find something else to do as well.
12 assists to 7 for the Wildcats. Jackson finds Hudson. 6 to shoot. Wow, Cedric Jackson. That had gone in. The place would have erupted. But Abercrombie has it. Hudson, pressured by Martin, just holds it up over Martin, though. Tries to squeeze it into Corletto. Heard it come off. Came off a Breaker's hand.
The crowd doesn't have a lot to cheer for, but they're finding something to boo for now. Always good to do things in unison.
65-48. 5.5 to go in this third quarter. Redditch to Higher. Higher drills a 3. 20-point lead. As Hudson shoots it from the foul line. Well, Hudson's having a nice night off the bench. 9 points, 4 of 4 from the field.
One of the few shining lights, but Cedric Jackson there able to use his penetration to find one of his open teammates, something he did so well last season.
Knight gets the back door on Hudson, kicks it out to Lish. Shoots it over a flailing Cedric Jackson, and Kevin Lish continues to rack up the points. He has 16 now.
The Perth Wildcats are using the Breakers' defensive aggressiveness against them. They have to be aggressive, but it's turning, not doing the right things right now.
Jackson's shot just grazes the rim. 2 misses from him in a row, and another turnover, a little bit rusty. Bit of a low entry pass for Redditch to bend down and pick up. And we've got a timeout. It's the Breakers just looking at each other, trying to discuss what exactly is going wrong on those offensive sets. And Casey, it has been a hard start to the season, the early season so far for the Breakers.
Well, you raise that banner, you tend to concentrate on the past instead of the future. And Angel Manis talked about it. He wanted this to be a new season. And so far, it is a new season.
All right, let's go down to Dennis, who's with Ali Williams.
Thanks very much, Andrew. Yeah, Ali, look, I guess you must be absolutely stoked. You're back from injury, you're playing on Sunday, and you're playing in the Battle of the Bridge.
I'm more stoked to be watching the Breakers, mate. Obviously not the perfect start, but they'll come into it. I've seen watching a lot of them train, actually, and they're training pretty hard. So defending a title is going to be hard and tough. But for me to get out there, yeah, really excited as well, mate.
I heard you on the radio saying, look, you're not looking too far ahead. Just getting on the field's an absolute bonus for you. This is one of the worst injuries you've had it.
Mentally it is, not physically, but yeah, really looking to get forward to getting out there, and every rugby game's a bonus.
And you reckon the Breakers can get back into it tonight?
Yeah, definitely. I think we just tidy up, take away the flashy stuff, and just nail those hoops.
Speaking about the black jersey, you must be happy with the way the ABs have picked up the NSEC Rugby Championship. It's a fantastic performance, in particular against Argentina, to cap it off.
Definitely, they're playing really well, and the young kids are really standing up, and even the old dogs are going well, so great to watch.
All right, thanks very much, Ali. Good luck for Sunday. We'll head back upstairs to Andrew.
Go the Breakers.
For sure.
Jackson into the key, puts it up, in and out. We have a foul, and I believe that might be on Jesse Wagstaff. And that is confirmed, and Wagstaff picks up his first foul.
More good work by Hudson there, attacking the offensive glass and drawing the foul on the Cedric Jackson near make, but just missed it.
Hudson, left hand, no good. Truman pulls it down, and Lish has it. Lead still 21. Lish into the key, stripped by Jackson, but Cedric Jackson will be called for that foul.
Fantastic job sealing the lane by Jeremiah Truman. He ran down the floor really well, got ahead of Hudson, sealed it off so Lish had an open lane, and Cedric Jackson had no choice but to try and get his hand in there, and gets called for the foul. Looks like he got a little bit of arm there after he tapped the ball. Certainly enough to send Lish to the free throw line.
Well, these will be free throws, 11 and 12 for the Perth Wildcats. They're 9 of 11 at the moment. And the Breakers have shot just 4, making 3 of them.
Part of the reason for that is the Breakers have been settling for that perimeter jump shot and haven't been very aggressive taking the ball to the hoop.
And Lish makes both. 73-50, Perth Wildcats in the box seat, in control at the North Shore Event Centre. Not how they wanted the evening to turn out for Breakers fans, and a sold-out NSEC as Abercrombie can't get it to go down. Perth pick up another rebound. 21 rebounds to just 12 for the Breakers. Wagstaff. And that came off a Breakers' hand as Truman was cutting to the lane.
Gotta like the aggressiveness of this second unit for the Wildcats. They're coming out and picking up where the first team left off, really putting the pressure on it. It helps to have Kevin Lish out there, still drawing a lot of attention defensively.
Really pressuring that ball up high are the Breakers, trying to create something. Boucher pokes it away. It's a 1-on-3 at the moment, gives it to a trailing Hudson, and he walks. Referee Mabry made the easy call.
Yeah, it's a tough place to give it to a big fella running down the lane or right out there at the free throw line. It's just too far for him to take off, and not quite the skill level to put the ball on the floor and pirouette around the defender.
Corey Webster pokes it away. CJ Bruton has it. Good defense by Webster on Everard Bartlett. That 2-3 zone, though, that worked so well in the first half, makes its appearance in the second half. Crafty move by the veteran. Webster for 3. Hudson gets the board. Lish on the ground. The commitment. What do we got? Everyone waiting on Michael Aylen.
Looks like he's saying Kevin Lish was on the sideline when he touched the basketball, so going back to the breakers this time after some good hustle from Will Hudson.
Still a good deal of time on the shot clock as Damian Martin comes into the game, and Lish takes a seat, 20 seconds with 2:46 to go. And that is Will Hudson's state of Minnesota, his home state, played for Oakland University, and he was a great rebounder for his university in the NCAA. Excuse me, Wisconsin.
I think he played for Minnesota, but I think he's from Wisconsin, which is that tattoo there.
My bad.
A Madison boy. Well, you should know your U.S. geography. I can't believe you got the states mixed up.
I know. It's the Midwest. It throws me every time. Jackson. Tipped by Martin. And Breakers ball.
The Wildcats just keeping that defensive pressure up. See that they've just worked very hard in the offseason.
Jackson for 3. Banks in another. Cedric Jackson is now 4 of 8 from behind the arc. He has 14 points.
I do like his aggressiveness from the three-point line. Last year, teams would just sag off and he wouldn't take it. You could see that is not his mindset this year. And if he's going to be able to hit, even at 30%, much less 50, he's going to be very difficult to guard. Although tonight it hasn't had the best results for the Breakers.
Poked away by the Breakers on the baseline. 6 to shoot for the Wildcats. And Mika Vakona will check in.
And even though the scoreboard isn't tilted the Breakers' way, you still see a lot of aggressiveness. Their body language hasn't dropped. They're still playing very confidently. You know, sometimes you have one of those nights where things just don't go your way.
And they run into a team like the Perth Wildcats, who are extremely well drilled, have a commitment to defense, and they have been exhibiting that defense tonight. At the length of the floor as well, it has to be said, as Bartlett had to shoot it as the shot clock wound down. We have a foul underneath. And Greg Hyatt will pick up that personal foul.
The Wildcats, aggressive defensively, aggressive offensively, and that time the aggressiveness on the offensive glass ended up in a over the back foul for Greg Hyatt.
62% the Perth Wildcats are shooting at the moment. Jackson gives it to Bruton, wide open. A little strong. As Boucher gets the turnover. Vakona. Wagstaff fouls him.
Dylan Boucher with the quick hands. You know, there have to be some of the quickest hands in the league on display tonight. Damian Martin, great defender. Cedric Jackson, great defender. Kevin Lish has shown some great hands here, but Dylan Boucher just picks the pocket of Greg Hyatt. Got to be careful anytime he's around you. Those extra possessions, that's what the Breakers need right now, and Dylan Boucher was able to get one of them for the team right there.
Well, that was the 5th team foul, so Vakona will shoot 2. I think about 75% of the steals Dylan Boucher has been getting over the last couple of years has been that sneaky hand coming around the back of the player.
Yeah, he's very skilled at it. You know, Dylan talks a lot about himself, saying he's not the most athletically gifted player, but the quickness of his hands, that's an athletic skill right there, and one you can't teach, and he's got it in spades.
Wagstaff under pressure after picking up the rebound. Bruton goes down. Martin blows by him. Decides to pull it up and gives it to Wagstaff. 1:25 to go in the 3rd quarter. Wagstaff has a mismatch with Jackson down low in the key. Boucher's pushing on Wagstaff. And Dylan Boucher, personal foul on him.
You see Dylan Boucher just a little bit upset about the call after all that contact that was going on inside between Wagstaff and Cedric Jackson. The call, what seems to be a bit of a touch foul in Dylan Boucher's mind, but it is enough of a touch to send him to the line for free throws as well. Both teams in the bonus for the rest of the quarter. The Breakers struggling to get past that 20-point deficit.
They scored 19 points in this quarter. They just haven't been able to stop the Perth Wildcats, who've scored 20 themselves. So a better third quarter for the Breakers, but the Perth Wildcats have just picked up where they left off in the first half. Wagstaff makes the second, 75-53, minute 15 to go in the third quarter. Jackson to Bruton. Bruton hesitates, gives it to Webster, puts it on the floor with the left hand. Gives it to Webster for three. Tipped. Boucher tips it in.
Dylan Boucher doing it all right now for the Breakers. Able to get his hand onto that basketball, and tough guy to block out.
Kick ball from Cedric Jackson. So Perth will reset.
Quick hands, quick feet. Use whatever you can right now. You got a switchblade in there somewhere. Pull that out. Stab the basketball.
Shot clock stays at 15. Jackson will take a seat. Bartlett in trouble. Mikavakona comes across and steals it. And Webster gives it up. Abercrombie. Vakona. Long two. Abercrombie's in there fighting for the rebound, but it's in the Wildcats' hands.
Abercrombie's going to have to get a few more boards. A much smaller, more mobile lineup on the floor for the Breakers right now, trying to dig into the deficit.
Strong move by Wagstaff. Doesn't come to anything, though, as Webster goes through Greg Hire. Vakona just bounces off Everard Bartlett. Just 13 rebounds, 14 for the Breakers. 25 for Perth. They're having trouble on the glass. Perth doing a great job of boxing out.
Well, part of the problem is that the Wildcats just aren't missing very many shots. Still shooting 61% from the night. Just not a lot of opportunities out there. And of the ones they are missing, they've gotten 8 of those back. So right now the Wildcats firing on all cylinders offensively. Looking like a team at least in midseason form.
6.6 to go in the third quarter. Breakers need a bucket here. Bruton answers the call with a three. Martin pushing it midcourt. Front of the rim from Damian Martin. And the Perth Wildcats have an 18-point lead at the North Shore Event Centre. Beaten finalists last season. They are in control in game 1 of the NBL season of 2012 and 13.
Well, the Breakers got to be at least pleased with their offensive effort in that corner. But now they got to find a way to slow down the Wildcats. They were able to pick up the tempo and get some easy buckets in transition, but the Wildcats were able to do the same right back at them. So now they got to find a way to get those buckets, but still slow down the ball defensively if they have a chance to get back into the game. And here we see a bit of Cedric Jackson's offensive explosion from back behind the arc. The first one went in pretty, just off the on-ball screen, nothing but net. Then he started using the glass. Gonna hit it here, gonna hit it there. Founds his teammate, Daryl Corletto in the corner for another rattle-home three. He liked the bank from the side as well. And he hits another one, 4 3-pointers in one game. That one off the corner, gave him a little bit of a smile. While he should be pleased with his ability to shoot the basketball, he's got to find another way for some other guys to get the ball in well as well.
In the half court, if it gets in the half court, we're getting in lanes, doing all that. Any 45 on ball, we're still going to sting. Any middle on ball is a hustle. Hustle and guarded. We sting, we've got to catch hard, that's right. What we can't do, and even in the red 20 as it comes, like you can't second guess that next one. That's got to be there. And once it comes out, that puts us in numbers disadvantage. That's got to be there. Offensively, when we're getting great shots, you put your head down, you drive, that's been good shit. Make sure we keep getting our cutters. In the shake situation, so let's say that's Tommy there. This is CJ or Cedric when he's in or Corey, and we go to shakes against his own. Here, I want this other postman to start low, Mika or Dylan. As that happens, you can set that screen, but I want you to circle more. All right, I'll just find this area here, and as he comes, that guard fades to the baseline. All right, and then that screener, you got, your hand on the rim as well, and just we're finding some people on that. Okay, boys. Here we go. Hey, as soon as this comes in here, look to go double straight away and red 20. 1, 2, 3.
Well, really, when you look at the effort of the two teams tonight, the Breakers are not playing badly, but they've run into a team that's playing very well, and they've given them a few too many opportunities. There really was only that short spurt in the second quarter where they didn't get it going, and that's cost them.
So Vekona pulls down that rebound. It's a 17-point lead for the Breakers. Vekona with a nice reverse and managed to get a piece of Greg Hire, who was on the ground.
I thought Greg Hire fouled Mika Vekona's foot with his head there.
Yeah, he caught a lot of something there as Greg Hire's just trying to flex that left arm.
You see Mika Vekona coming around. Clever move, uses the screen from CJ. And it comes down right on top of his head. No blood, no foul.
Knight has it poked away by Vekona. Vekona is all over him. 10 to shoot. Damien Martin has it by halfway. Knight has it kicked away. As the Breakers picking up the intensity. Shot clock goes back to 14 seconds on a kick ball.
Breakers arguing for a travel call there on Matt Knight, but this is the intensity that the Breakers needed defensively for the entire game. But now that they picked it up, let's see if they can have some good things happen.
Bobbled by Knight. Reddish takes his post position. 2 to shoot. Reddish. Great defense by Dylan Boucher. More of that is needed if you're a Breakers fan. And you certainly don't want that. Corey Webster turns the ball over. And that's turnover number 15 for the Breakers. 17 for Perth, mind you. But 10 steals to 7. Perth Wildcats advantage. Make it 8 as Boucher gets it back. Vekona almost lost it. Puts it up, front of the rim. Great rebound by Cam Tovey. Hustling at the moment, these two teams. No strangers to each other.
This is only the first of 4 regular season matchups this season as CJ Bruton, clever veteran foul there. He knew he had no chance to get to the corner and just blasts right through Matty Knight. He knew he had no chance, just gives him the shoulder to the solar plexus. And you may be thinking, what is he doing? But that's a great heady foul there. It takes away the three-pointer that would have most certainly gone down without wide open a look for Kevin Lish.
CJ Bruton started his NBL career in Perth, albeit in 1994. And through the years, he's learned. He's learned all sorts of tricks. Knows the foul situation. Knows how to set the tone. And he's bailed out his teams throughout the league. And Cedric Jackson has had his hands full, being defended not only by Kevin Lish, but by Damien Martin as well in the backcourt. Those two have been particularly good on defense tonight. They've been outstanding, in fact. Lish leads all scorers with 18. 75-60, Perth ball. 10 to shoot. Knight on Hudson. Fall away. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Matty Knight. He has 16.
He's playing very well. They're not going to him very often, but when they do, he's getting buckets. He's really producing well.
Jackson for 3. Too strong. Martin puts it up. Reddish just lost the handle. He goes out of bounds. The ball goes out of bounds, and the Breakers will have it.
Yeah, the classic trying to do something without first really securing the basketball on the move, try to make it. The defender in front of him just took his eye off the basketball for 1 second and dribbled us off his foot.
Boucher and Corletto just talking about some of the things they could have done maybe a little bit better.
Dance moves?
No. I guess so. They don't look too worried about this big deficit at the moment. I'm sure there'll be a thorough review if Perth Wildcats do hold on to the 17-point lead, and it's more than likely that they will. As Abercrombie, hang time is sensational, but he can't get it to finish. As Jackson takes another 3.
He is getting him up to the three-point line. That's his 10th three-pointer for the game. Making 4 of those 10.
I love the up fake that Kevin Lish has in the corner. It's almost like it's mandatory that he puts it up. Doesn't really sell it all that well. Redditch. Step through as the shot clock expired, and down goes Mika Vakona. Who felt that one.
That's another one. Took a little bit of a lot of contact here for the first game of the season. These two guys going at each other. Mika Vakona gets his hand on it. Good call by the official. Smacks into the ground.
Timeout. And I'd hate to see Mika Vakona as an old man, because I reckon those kind of falls will take their toll on his body.
They certainly will. Basketball, like a lot of those sports out there, will age you a little bit before your time.
If you have the ball handler, you got to get up and make him do something, okay? As it's coming across the center line, we're always looking for our red 20 opportunities and shooting gaps. Any on ball on the sideline is still a blitz. Go get after it. Anything in the middle is a switch, but you got to work it. Offensively, get it and go, transits, punch screens, whatever, get on the rim is fine. If it's walk-up situations, stay with shakes, all right? Stay with shakes, get that hard roll, get that guy lifted. Cedric, more heat on the rim. Don't settle for threes right now, all right? We need you getting to the rim and making something happen. Get that punch screen on the backside for something to go to the basket.
Hey, if you're only just ahead of the guard in trans, set him some early screens as well.
Against the man-to-man. Here we go. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
The Breakers picking up that pressure, pushing after it, and the crowd normally jumping in the fourth quarter at this time. Not a lot to cheer about, even though the Breakers are making a valiant effort to get back into the basketball game, but the Wildcats are just too good at the moment.
Just 7 losses last season for the Breakers. 21-7 on the season. 22-6 the year before. Perth Wildcats most likely going to hand them their first of the season. They're not a team that just give up 16, 17-point lead.
They call the foul on 5, Will Hudson.
As Will Hudson picks up a personal foul, hands on his head.
Can't believe it. He's saying he stood straight up. I think he forgot that he hit him with his hip, though.
6:52 left in this game. Redditch falls to the floor, but Toby's there. Lish, up fake, goes up again. A little strong, and Vakona pulls it down, looks up court, gives it to Jackson. Bruton with Tovey on him.
The defensive rotations by the Wildcats, fantastic. That time Tovey had the mismatch with Vakona, but just didn't stop fighting. Was able to just get a fingernail on the basketball and knock it away.
Vakona again cleans up. Perth, they get back so well on defense. Redditch blocking foul on him as Jackson just runs straight into him.
Wildcats trying to rotate the bodies now, keep everybody fresh, see if they can't withstand one final push from the New Zealand Breakers.
So Bruton and Vakona take a seat. Corletto and Boucher are back. Matty Knight also rests. There's Wagstaff in the game. Wagstaff and Redditch combined with some nice defense there. And Cedric Jackson got him on the arm.
Well, it looked like he just pulled the chair out from under him.
It certainly did.
Went in for the steal. I don't know. Tough to see from our angle up here where the foul of that action was, but for the most part, it looked like he just pulled away from him, had nobody to sit on, and he fell down.
Rob Beveridge said in the week leading up to this game, as we see.
Oh, that's That's a tough one to swallow. He calls the pull down, but there was not a lot of pull down there, but from the official's angle, it looked like it might have been.
Everett said woulda, coulda, shoulda won the championship last season as Lish draws the contact and kisses it off the glass. It drops and he'll go to the line to try and convert a three-point play.
Man, he is playing well tonight. Shooting the ball excellently, 7 for 12 from the field. Now he gets another opportunity from the free throw line where he's already 4 of 5, looking for his 21st point. And, you know, a lot of talk last year in New Zealand at the end of the season that Cedric Jackson was the MVP, that maybe Kevin Lish wasn't deserving of it. None of that talk over in Perth, mind you, but he's come back to Auckland tonight and said, hey, that was my trophy last year and I'm gonna go earn it again.
79-60, 5.5 to go in the game in this fourth quarter. Abercrombie was going to shoot that from the moment he took that curl on the top.
That's his first bucket since the first quarter. Gets him up to 9 points, but hasn't had a lot of opportunities to get to the bucket or even really see it with the Perth defense all over him.
Pledger, he's in the game, and he comes across the key and disrupts Lish's layup to great effect as Jackson crosses half court. Into the key, and Boucher just barrels over the top of Damian Martin. Martin will pick up that personal foul.
Dylan Boucher, a little bit of a lead blocker there. Getting to the rain, and Damian Martin tried to pull the sneaky. Oh, he ran over me, ref. But
that's a Dylan Boucher type play, isn't it?
That is. That's when it's a veteran, you call it a heads-up play. And if it's somebody for the other team, you say he's cheating. But all in all, clever move. Didn't work out that time, but he was able to stop the break and force the Breakers to inbound from the sideline.
Abercrombie on the baseline. Had it tipped in the hand, I believe. He reckons he was fouled on the way up. But Perth have it, 16-point lead, in control. Pledger gives it to a cutting Wagstaff, tipped by Boucher. And Perth will have it on the baseline as Matty Knight comes in the game for Sean Redditch. And just a total complete performance by Perth. They came in with intent. They caught the Breakers napping with their intensity. It's no great surprise that they have it. They just executed that much better at both ends as Damian Martin gets 2.
It really wasn't a bad performance by any means for the Breakers. They came out and played reasonably well, but the Wildcats thirsty for that victory that eluded them last year.
Daryl Corletto misses the shot. Matty Knight pulls down a rebound. It's been a big night for Matty Knight. 16 points and 6 rebounds for the center. Boucher tips it. Jackson has it. Bounce pass to Pledger. He's hammered right down Blood Nose Lane, and Alex Pledger will shoot 2.
Good foul there by Matty Knight, and he is having a fantastic night. 16 points and 6 rebounds, as you managed. As Cam Tovey fouls out of the game. Wasn't a foul on the night, as we thought from up here, but Tovey instead. But Matty Knight is doing it so efficiently, only taking 9 shots on the evening and making 7 of those for his 16 points. And with that kind of efficiency, the Perth Wildcats would be a force to reckon with. Tough night for Cam Tovey.
Great performance by his team, though. 18-point lead, and Rob Beveridge still coaching the lights out.
So right now, if you guys, if you're going for the double team, so right now, I want the ball in your hands. Okay, so if they're going to face guard like this, Cam, screen for Kona. Okay, hey, Damo, just get open, now you might get it. Get out of there. When they come up here, if they're putting heat, come and screen, and then throw it back and play through the fly. Just keep the ball moving here. So if they're applying the pressure, just get out and play. Now, if it's a dead ball, let's look at corner curl. Corner curl. Defensively.
What a great game of basketball to tip off the season. Perth Wildcats exacting just a little bit of revenge for a disappointing grand final series result. It's a statement game for them this early. But they haven't had too much success in Auckland. And they've lost, I think it was 3 games in a row by 6 points against the Breakers.
Yeah, they made 3 trips to Auckland last season, and 2 of those in the grand final series. And you are correct, each of those losses was by a mere 6 points.
It's almost like it's rivalry round in the NBL, round number 1. We've got the Townsville Crocs up against the Cairns Taipans. We've got the Sydney Kings up against the Wollongong Hawks, and then we've got Adelaide and Melbourne doing battle.
I'll tell you, as the league has had a little bit of a contraction in past years, but that does make every game a rivalry with so few teams and the quality of the players so high. It seems like every single game is a rivalry.
Great fast break from the inbounds. I mean, it turned out to be a fast break on an inbounds play as Matty Knight just streaked ahead. No one picked them up. 2 points for him.
Well, the Breakers are in desperation mode, trying to make something happen, and at times you're going to give up an easy bucket.
Jackson shoots another 3. Hits his 5th 3 off the game on 11 attempts.
And not shy about putting it up.
He has 17. Kevin Lish is the leading scorer with 20 for the Wildcats. 3:16 to go. 83-67, Perth Wildcats. Dylan Boucher with another strip, but he was out of bounds.
Trying to tiptoe the line there, just couldn't keep his heel off of it. But the effort once again is there as a nifty little pass. Dylan Boucher gets all ball. Oh, it looked like he got his foot in bounds there.
That looks like Dylan Boucher may have been robbed a little. Then again, Perth Wildcats fans will say he robbed them earlier in the game with that flop. It's Martin. Can't get the left hand to drop. It was wide open too, and I think Wagstaff and Knight were fighting each other for that board. High cleans it up, Martin resets. Under 3 to go in the game.
Thirsty for those offensive rebounds.
Abercrombie out high on Lish. 10 on the shot clock. Lish going to work. Over comes Boucher. Knight in the corner. He can't hit that. A little short on that attempt. That was tipped by Perth. CJ Bruton looked like he sent into the second row of the hospitality seats on the baseline. You've got to keep your hands up.
A lot of surprise sounds from the crowd on that one. Nobody knew where that one came from, but came from the tip apparently.
Lish in the pocket of Tom Abercrombie. Double team. Wagstaff from behind, rips it away. Bumped by Bruton. And Bruton wants a push off from Jesse Wagstaff. He's not going to get it. He pleads his case. And he goes to the other ref and pleads his case.
Oh.
And Tom Abercrombie is down.
Not sure exactly what happened. Looks as he limps off a little bit. Definitely the possibility of that ankle being injured again. But seems to be walking okay. And he has worked so hard to get back into playing shape. Hadn't really been on the court at full strength or full speed for quite some time there.
It's tough as a coach as well, Casey. At what point do you pull off your star athletic player in a blowout like this?
Then we see the replay. Thomas Abercrombie.
It looks like he
might have got
something on the
head. Yeah, little concussed.
Maybe. But yeah, I mean, they're pushing to bring the game back. But then again, maybe just concede defeat in a blowout like this. Maybe in the later part of the season. This is game 1 of the NBL season as the Breakers pushing for offense, turn it over again.
I think pretty soon, I think some of the subs are going to come in. But at this point of the season, you don't want to concede anything. I think something that the Breakers need to learn is that this is the kind of intensity that the Wildcats brought tonight. You're going to expect a lot more from that. They're the back-to-back defending champions, and teams want to beat them. You know, not only do they want to beat them for themselves, but teams in the Australian competition in the NBL do not want a New Zealand team winning 3 championships back-to-back. So there is a massive target on their backs, on their fronts, on their foreheads, pretty much everywhere.
Absolutely. And there was the suggestion that maybe they were just a little touch too complacent coming into the season. Maybe just winning 2 titles back-to-back. Trying to keep that hunger going, trying to keep their focus going. Wanted to get another title, not so much calling it a three-peat, but continuing the excellence that they've had over the last 2 seasons. But now it's looking like the Perth Wildcats are saying enough is enough. We're sick of being beaten by you, and we've come to play the entire season at 100% energy levels, full boost.
And you're certainly not wrong. You know, quite often there is that championship hangover. You know, teams, it's not that they don't want it as much, but it's tough. It's tough to keep up that intensity for season after season going after that same goal, especially after you've accomplished it a couple of times. It becomes difficult to get it up there. But, you know, when that step back happens and when it does occur, the best thing that can happen is for somebody to come in and give you a beating. You know, if you take it on the chin, you say, oh, wait a minute, I don't like taking it on the chin. I'm here to win basketball games. And, you know, I think that's what the best the Breakers can hope for right now. And the Wildcats, on the other hand, you know, this is a shining example of how they hope to play for the entire season. Rotating bodies, everybody getting on the court, high pressure defense. With the absence of Luke Neville, they're able to play at a bit of a higher pace. And Matty Knight, great night for him. Looks like he's going to maybe put his hand up as an MVP candidate.
Matty Knight gets 2 more at the free throw line. 20 points for him on what has been a great performance down low. He's just 2 rebounds shy of a double-double. Bruton from deep. Martin has it. Breakers extending their defense. They're not pulling back. Tom Abercrombie picks up the personal foul on Jesse Wagstaff. And the Perth Wildcats, Casey, I mean, most teams who blow teams out before halftime, which is what we saw, sometimes slip a little bit. They get complacent. The Perth Wildcats have just had the foot to the floor the entire game.
Yeah, I cannot see the Wildcats ever being complacent against this Breakers team. In their minds, the Breakers have something that was rightfully theirs. You know, they thought they had that title last year. And if you're going to sit there and stew over an entire winter, just sitting there thinking about this game, there was no way they were going to take their foot off the pedal in the second half. And a fantastic performance by them tonight.
Webster. No good, but the Breakers will get it back. 16 to shoot. Minute 24 left in the game. Corey Webster, good to see him back. And a Breakers singlet. Had a year suspension. And he spent some time in the off-season in China. Former NBL coach Brian Gorshin. And it looks to have benefited, especially on the body shape of Corey Webster. He looks like he is fit. He just needs game time to get his rhythm back.
I would suspect he lost 10 to 15 kilos. You know, really working hard. You know, sometimes you don't know how much you want something until it's taken away. It's Cedric Jackson with another 3. Well, here I think we found the long-distance specialist.
5 of 11. I think it's now 6 of 12. 50% from the line is Redditch. Streaking to the cup, gets the pass, and 2 points for Sean Redditch, who looks like to be back. And a little bit of veteran form as Lish gives it up to Redditch. 2 straight buckets for the naturalised Australian.
Get a quick whistle for the sub for Leon Henry to come in, but the Perth Wildcats, no let up. They're up by 24. They want to win by 44 if they can. They will take every opportunity to put the ball in the basket and build this lead, to get a bit of a mental edge in this building. That's something that they've been sorely lacking in years past.
Webster knocks down a 3. Sean Redditch had 16 points in the game.
How dangerous is the team going to be when Sean Redditch can be your 3rd option? You know, not really forcing the basketball to him like they have in the past few seasons. But they don't need to. They have so many offensive weapons.
Redditch lost his feet. 7 on the shot clock. Lish almost lost the handle. Leon Henry's just sort of tackling him for the ball. Hudson has it. And that's a charge. Jesse Wagstaff just held his ground.
Yeah, that's not where you want to have the center picking up the basketball at half court, making decisions on the fast break, but he was the open man. And, you know, the coaches that I've had in the past, when the center gets the basketball on a fast break, they don't blame the center, they blame the guy who passed it to him. You know, what are you giving the ball to him there? What's he going to do with it? And, you know, the big guys, normally they only know one thing, and that's go hard to the basket. That time he did, gets the offensive foul.
Plenty for Andre Lemanis to think about over the weekend. There's around 10 to go. The Perth Wildcats have laid a beat down on the defending NBL champions when they unfurled their banner. They have lost the first game in sensational style. The Perth Wildcats have done a great job. They win by 21, 93 to 72.